people? I had a whole nother video already filmed, and I was in the middle of the editing process when I took a break and looked at a Philip DeFranco video when he showed us this one video with this kid talking to his teacher. And what I really think you should do is, I'll leave it in the description below, you should watch it and then come back to my video. Okay, you're back. Awesome. I have several problems with high school, but I'm not going to get into all of them. I'm specifically going to talk about how teachers teach. Now, I had this one teacher in high school. His name was Mr. Sabo, and I got a C or C- in his class. I think it was a C. And you know, a lot of people would be freaking out, be like, oh my god, I got a C, I'm average, this is horrible, I can't believe I got it that bad of a grade. But in reality, I learned the most in that class than I have in almost every other class that I have ever taken. My teacher would not just sit there and hand me packets or hand me books to read, because he was my English teacher. He wouldn't just say, write this paper on this book that we just read, and there you go, and I'm gonna give you a grade based on whatever I feel like. No, he wouldn't do that. What Mr. Sabo would do would be, you read this book, we would discuss it in class, like based on the chapters that we were supposed to have read, we would take notes, and then we would write this paper on a broad topic. And it wouldn't be like,
oh, tell me about how, like, adultery is important to the Scarlet Letter.
He would just say, write a paper on the Scarlet Letter. Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. I can't believe that teacher would ever do something that horrible, because it's so difficult and students don't know what to do. But that's the thing. That class wasn't us just sitting there going, all right, we're gonna fill out these formulas, we know what to do, we're doing this. It made me think. It made me apply myself, because if I didn't apply myself, I would get a D on a paper. And instead of half-assing it the night before and, you know, getting a B. Now, there are a lot of teachers in schools that will hand you packets and will say,
here you go, here's this packet, now do your thing, like read it, take notes.
If some teacher gives me reading from a textbook, I will not read it. And I know that sounds really stupid, and honestly, it is very stupid of me not to do that. But reading from a textbook means that I'm not learning. I'm not understanding something. I am just reading from a book, which I can do when I want to. I understand the concept of homework, I do, but homework should not be me reading what you should be teaching me. Homework should be where I apply the concepts that you have taught me and help understand what you taught me. So then, if you teach me this concept in my math class and you go, all right, here you go, fill out this sheet. And instead of going, here, read this textbook and fill out this sheet, then I will have already known what I need to do. And if I did need extra help, then I would go to that textbook, which should be there as another resource, not as a teaching tool. And in this video, the teacher, she's not only just sitting there being like, she's not listening. And that's something that I hate about a lot of teachers. A lot of teachers don't listen to their students. They have been teaching for so long that they just check out. They go,
I don't have to learn. I already know what I'm doing. I'm comfortable in my tenured job.
Although I do really like the concept of tenure, because my dad, who is a teacher, has that position. But that's the thing. My dad is a good teacher. He goes out of his way to help students. He will call them saying, you haven't turned in this assignment. Is there anything I can do to help you? He will email them. He will do everything in his power to make sure that the students that normally fall between the cracks don't fall between the cracks. In high school, I wasn't the most applied student ever. I would mostly sit there and go, this is what I have to do to pass the class, and I would pass it. And I got a lot of A's and B's, but yes, I did get some C's. And the reason that I would do that was because I could. And that's what's the difference between high school and college. In high school, you can do everything very easily, and you can half-ass things and still pass the class. In college, you can still do that, but the teachers are actually most of them care about their job. They will force you to apply yourself. They will make sure that you get your stuff done. And if you don't apply yourself, it's not their responsibility. College is about you motivating yourself to do it. And in high school, it's them going,
okay, I'm gonna see if I can maybe give you the sheet because, well, that should be easy for you.
School should not be easy. School should not be about teaching to the test. It should not be about following a formula and doing everything exactly how it has been. It shouldn't be about writing a 5-paragraph essay. It should be about writing an essay in the format that you want because you are a creative person. But at this point, what a lot of teachers are teaching now are teaching us to follow orders and to just go with whatever we can. Now, I'm not saying that the whole school system is failed, because it's not. There are some very good teachers, there are some really good subjects, there are some classes that help you think creatively. But with all the budget cuts going on in our country, school seems to be cut first over CEOs and whatever. I'm not getting to the politics of this, so please don't get in an argument in the comments. But you cannot deny that school is being cut. So at this point, all the funding for anything other than the main things are being cut. And mostly that's the arts, and that teaches you creativity, that teaches you how to think outside the box, that teaches you to be your own person, and that's what is being cut now. We are not supposed to be our own person. We are supposed to be what people want us to be. We are supposed to read the packet and answer the questions. We are not supposed to think and raise our hand and say, why are you not actually teaching the class? Because if we do, if we think outside the box and we go against the system and we go, hey, maybe this isn't right, we will get kicked out of the class or kicked out of our job or whatever. In my school district, our funding is being cut about $12 million. And at this point, they are not only cutting my music program, my theater program, they're also cutting teachers and electronics and sports. And sports is one that usually isn't cut. This is how bad funding is at this point. And that's also because my economy for my state is not the greatest. And that is something that has to be fixed, but it's difficult. But I really think that at this point, a lot of people overlook the future of our country and think, you know, we need to fix things now. We have to fix wars and we have to fix the budget deficit right now and we have to fix all these things. And they look at the short term, and us kids, we're lost. We are suddenly taught by a teacher who just wants to hand us a packet and doesn't want to teach because it's not as important as fixing the things that we can fix right now. So if you ever have a teacher like this, or you ever have a boss like this, don't be afraid to stand up to them. Don't be afraid to speak up and say, I don't think something is right. I once had a calc teacher who threw a temper tantrum in the middle of class and actually told an autistic girl to shut up. I never learned a single thing in that class because he wouldn't really teach us. He would just assume that we should know things at that point. How am I supposed to learn in an environment where I do not feel comfortable with the teacher? How am I supposed to learn in an environment where the teacher doesn't teach? How am I supposed to learn when I have no idea what is going on? These are a bunch of questions you have to ask yourself. And if your funding for your school is being cut, even if you're in college, you have to go, I need to do something about this. Everyone is so apathetic about everything. They go, this isn't my problem. Towards the end of my high school career, we had this double lunch problem, and I think we still have it at this point. And all the seniors went, it's not my problem, I'm gonna be gone soon. And what did I do? I went to the principal and talked to him. I emailed people. I talked to as many people as I could because I didn't just want to help myself. I wanted to help the people after me. And sure, at this point, I'm not going to care whether or not there is a single lunch or a double lunch, but that does not mean that I can sit back and go, whatever. I'm being a lame duck right now. It doesn't matter. I can't do anything because it won't affect me. Things will always affect you. If you sit back and you're apathetic about everything, it's going to screw you over. So stand up to that teacher that doesn't teach. Think creatively. Push yourself as hard as you can because you are the person that makes a difference in your future.